Most people think they have a plan, but what they really have is a pretty diagram that does absolutely nothing to protect them. We saw that whiteboard circulating online, and look, it's a great conversation starter, but let's talk about why it would leave most high-income earners completely exposed. The real problem isn't that people don't care about protecting their wealth, it's that they don't know what they don't know. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if your legal infrastructure is built on a shaky foundation, the whole thing collapses when it actually matters. Let's start with the grantor revocable trust, because that whiteboard leaned on it pretty hard. A revocable trust is essentially just a fancy folder you control it, which means creditors can reach it, and legally speaking, it might as well have your name written in permanent marker on the outside. Now there is one very specific exception, and that's a Florida drafted land trust used for a Florida property, which does carry some meaningful protection. But outside of that narrow context, if someone sues you and wins, that trust is not standing between you and a judgment, it's more like a speed bump made of paper. Then there's the single LLC problem, and this one is almost poetic in how it defeats its own purpose. When you bundle multiple assets, properties, business interests, investments into one entity, you've essentially created a single target with multiple prizes inside. Think of it like putting all your eggs in one basket and then hanging a neon sign above it. If one asset generates liability, a slip and fall, a contract dispute, an angry tenant, that exposure can reach every other asset sitting in that same structure. The third breakdown is the most expensive oversight of all. There was no tax strategy on that whiteboard, none. And here's the irony. The people most excited about asset protection are often hemorrhaging tens of thousands of dollars a year in avoidable taxes while they're busy protecting assets they could have kept more of in the first place. Real wealth planning requires multiple disciplines, working in concert tax law, business law, estate planning, and asset protection, like a symphony where every instrument has to show up or the whole performance falls apart. What most people have instead is a kazoo and a dream. So what does a real structure actually look like? It starts with separation, each asset class or high liability holding in its own properly structured entity, so that risk is contained and cannot bleed across your portfolio like a virus. Layered on top of that is genuine tax strategy, cost segregation, depreciation, entity elections, timing of income, the kinds of tools that keep significantly more of your earned income in your hands instead of disappearing into a system that is perfectly happy to take it. These aren't loopholes. They're the legal architecture that sophisticated investors have been using for decades, and the IRS built them into the code on purpose. Then comes legacy planning, because what's the point of building all of this if it doesn't reach the people and causes you actually care about? Without a coordinated estate plan, your wealth can get tied up in probate, slashed by estate taxes, or distributed in ways that would make you roll over in your grave. The misconception most people carry is that this level of planning is only for billionaires or trust fund families, and that is genuinely one of the most expensive myths in personal finance. If you are a high-income earner, a business owner, or a real estate investor, you are already operating at a scale where the right structure pays for itself many times over. The practical lesson history keeps teaching us is devastatingly simple. The people who build real wealth don't necessarily earn more than everyone else, they just lose less. Discipline, proper sizing of your entities, consistency in your strategy, and the patience to build a structure before you need it, rather than after the lawsuit lands, that is the actual game. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need the right team around you and the humility to know that a viral whiteboard is not a substitute for a real plan. Protect what you've built, grow it intelligently, and make sure it reaches exactly where you intend. And if you're ready to get serious about real estate investing, contractor connections, or finding the right lenders, check out our links in the description below.